Hello, everyone. This is Yamina from DrGPCR. I'm excited to be here today. Today, we're recording the video edition of the 2024 April monthly DrGPCR newsletter, and we're going to be focusing only on the DrGPCR University and the hands-on pharmacology data analysis workshop coming up next month in May 9th, more specifically. Today, I have with me Dr. Sam Hoare, who's going to be leading that workshop. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, Yamina. It's great to be here. Thanks.
Very excited to have you on, very excited about the workshop. So I thought we could start explaining to our viewers, how did we come up with this idea of a workshop? And I'll let you maybe lead on and tell us where the idea came from.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been doing pharmacology data analysis on GPCRs for an embarrassingly long time, about 30 years now. And I've been doing that as an academic. And then I worked for a drug company for 15 years where I was really doing it in the trenches. And that's going to be important later. And I've been a consultant for the last, 5 or 6 years. And a lot of people are coming to me asking how to do data analysis. So this is a terrific opportunity. And I guess we could tell the story this way. As Terry has pointed out, these are incredibly exciting times for GPCRs. We're beginning to understand how they work much better thanks to the structures. We have really advanced pharmacology now where we can really describe the activity of drugs in much more refined terms. And this is really being informed by structures. Last week alone, there was a paper from Brian Kabilka and colleagues describing how structures relate to different pharmacological states with different affinities for ligands and different activities for activating G proteins. Brian Roth published a paper last week on allosteric modulators of a taste receptor, combining structures with advanced pharmacology to quantify allosteric effects. And these are really exciting times. And Terry's been writing papers and has recently done the DrGPCR University course, which was very well attended. Another strand to the story really picks up on something Arthur was talking about in his podcast on others that was just released. Arthur Christopoulos has been doing analytical pharmacology for a long time, and he was responsible for putting a lot of these equations into PRISM. The final strand for the story really is showing people how to do it. Up until a few years ago, we had to show people by sitting next to them on the computer. That was the only way we could do it. And Arthur talked about that. That's how he trained people. When the DrGPCR ecosystem became available, I guess it was in 2020, all of a sudden, new ways of doing things became possible. And it was really your vision. You saw this before a lot of us did. And I was very keen to get involved because we could see what we could do. And now, with the DrGPCR University, we can show a lot of people how to do things that ordinarily we would have to do one-on-one. Now we can do it all over the world. Doesn't matter what continent you're on. And we can show people how to do advanced pharmacology data analysis. And I'm very grateful to you and the DrGPCR ecosystem team for the opportunity to be able to do this. I'm very excited by this opportunity.
Thank you, Sam. And to your point, I think being able to do this from the comfort of your home while you're giving the workshop, or if you're attending such course or workshop, is really, it's a plus. I know it's not the same thing as being in person, but it's a plus because then it's that amount of time that you spend in the classroom, and then you can go and work in the lab or continue your projects and have the opportunity to still learn in that sense. The other thing I wanted to mention is that for your course and for at least for 2024, we will be offering 5 complimentary scholarships to anyone who lives and works in a developing country. And thank you, Sam, for giving us the idea. And I can't wait. It's a Google form that we put together. It's on a first come, first served basis. And we still have those 5 spots open.
Great. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more specifically about the workshop. So this one is a little bit different. It is not a course, it is a workshop. It's 4 consecutive weeks starting May 9th. Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern time, but this is 2 hours. So what should people who register for the workshop expect?
Yeah, it's an exciting format. The first hour really is going to be me talking. I'm here what I've done. I've done a lot of pharmacology data analysis, as a lot of people know. So I'm going to be walking through advanced pharmacology data analysis. So this is going to be for people who have some experience with pharmacology for GPCRs, doing concentration response analysis, people who have gotten familiar, people who are familiar with PRISM, doing their pharmacology analysis in PRISM. That's really who this course is targeted at. We're going to show you in the first session, we're going to walk you through how to do concentration response analysis. So we're going to start gently, right? Let's start with something that everybody really knows. But we're going to show you how to do it really well. I've learned a lot of tips and tricks over the years, not least because of a lot of things going wrong. That's always the best way to learn how to do things right. So we're going to talk through the first session. We're going to talk through concentration response analysis, how in particular, we're going to focus on the artifacts that can affect the analysis. We're going to be providing you throughout the course. Obviously, we'll provide you with the slides, but we're also going to provide you with PRISM files that you can use to analyze data. That's going to include, in some cases, a lot of custom equations and custom templates that you can just use directly. They'll be given away for free to all the attendees. We're also going to have Excel templates, which you can use as simulators to see how systems behave. So there's going to be lots of goodies that you get for free. So the first hour is going to be me talking. I don't know how exciting that's going to be, but hopefully you'll learn something. And it's pitched to be quite advanced. So the people that are familiar with pharmacology are going to learn a lot. But it's also, the other thing that's going to work is people who are familiar with the advanced material are going to be able to use some of this stuff as training material for their more inexperienced colleagues. So that's one thing I really want to get. I attended one of Terry's courses once, and he likes to flatter, and he said, "You already know this stuff." And I said, "Terry, I'm here to learn how to teach it." So that's part of the goal here, is to provide you materials so you can teach others. So there's going to be lots of goodies. The second hour really is going to be focused on discussion. When you and I have done these workshops before with DrGPCR, on for like 45 minutes. There's always so much interest in this kind of material. And I really want the Q&A to be a discussion. People do things differently in different labs. And I personally don't believe there's necessarily a right way to do things sometimes. So it'll be an opportunity to debate, to really talk about analysis. And I'm hoping that's going to be a discussion rather than an Ask the Professor session. The final thing is you'll get like 30 minutes of free consultation time. So you can work through the PRISM files, which are going to be examples. You can do that in your own time. And that's part of the workshop ethos, is here's some stuff, go try it. And then you can come back to me and say, this isn't working, what's going on here? Have you considered this? So we can, every participant will have a 30-minute one-on-one with me, so we can talk through things. The second workshop is going to be all about agonist pharmacology. My determination here, Yamina, is to get you to understand the operational model. That is, we've talked about this.
Yes.
I'm like, Yamina, the operational model is easy. And she's like, you're crazy. It's complicated. So we're going to talk about, we're going to spend the second session talking an awful lot about the operational model, because it is the foundation of pharmacology. And trust me, it's when you see it explained, it's going to be relatively straightforward. We're also going to talk about how to analyze the data in PRISM using the operational model. As Arthur was saying, he put it in there.
Yeah.
Let's see how to use it. So then we're going to talk about biased agonism, and we're going to talk about how to do that from an academic perspective, which is a method that most people are used to. We're also going to talk about how to do it from a drug discovery perspective in a way that medicinal chemists and decision makers can understand. It's going to be a bit more streamlined than the academic method, but I think it's going to be useful to drug discovery folks. The third session is going to be dedicated to antagonists and to binding assays, how we analyze those data. That's going to be a lot of workshop stuff. Here's the data, here's how we analyze it, lots of step-by-step stuff. Binding assays, we'll talk about some of the artifacts and best practices. That's going to be a real nuts and bolts session, the third session on antagonists and binding assays. Then finally, the fourth session is going to be the cutting edge stuff, the allosteric data analysis, which is not trivial necessarily, but again, Arthur's done a nice job of putting that into Prism. And a lot of the classical analysis that he discussed, we're going to go through that too and see how to do it. And we're also going to be talking about kinetics in binding assays and kinetics in functional assays. That last session is going to be, we're going to be rocketed forward. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So I think that about captures what the material is going to cover. Is there anything I'm missing out here?
No, I don't think so. And it's interesting because you and I had this conversation offline a couple of times, well, a while ago about the operational model. And yes, you read it. Yes, in theory, you kind of understand it. But when it comes to actually in practice, how do you use it? And in Prism, I personally never had the chance or the opportunity to do it. So I'm very excited about the opportunity to actually take the numbers and make them speak to you, and using the right equations so that you can appreciate the pharmacology, but also be able to interpret the data generated and understand what is the step by step. I think the way I see this workshop is this organizing or putting together a process to analyzing data properly in order to understand it and also leave with the right conclusions regarding the pharmacology data that you get.
For sure.
The other thing I wanted to mention is, in addition to the 30-minute one-on-one complimentary included in the class, every participant is going to leave with a DrGPCR and signed by you as well, a completion certificate. We're going to be working on getting you that. The other thing is that anyone signing up with an individual plan will be able to get a 1-year membership to the DrGPCR premium version of the ecosystem. Which reminds me that we now are offering individual plans to join your workshop, but also we thought about teams. So there's 2 additional plans, teams up to 5 people and teams more than 5 people. In there. I know we're recording this before the early bird deadline. So if you're watching this, and we're going to make sure that this video comes out, at least this snippets of the video come out before the early bird ends, we're offering a 25% discount on all registrations so that people can come and enjoy your workshop. I think this pretty much covers it all. I didn't have any additional questions. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add.
I just thought of it. Probably should have done this offline. But are the sessions going to be recorded and available for people to watch later?
Yes. So that's a great question. So the sessions are going to be recorded the entire 2-hour. Typically, what we've done with Terry's class is that 24 hours after the session is recorded is made available to the participants. And then so that people can come back. We do have a private group for the participants. So anyone who signs up will be put into that group. You are there, which reminds me that I would like to ask you to put on, if it's not done yet, a profile picture. And I would like to ask everyone to do it once you're in the group so that we can recognize each other. You can chat, you can ask questions. I know that you've already gotten questions in the group.
Yeah, it's great.
People who have signed up to the class. What else? The materials are going to be also available in that private group. They're downloadable for anyone who has registered. And Sam, you mentioned Excel templates and Prism templates and goodies there. If you want to share those in advance with anyone who has registered to the class, please give them to us. Our team is going to be more than happy to add them in there. So anyone, as soon as you register, you have access to the group, you have access to the material, to the written materials, and to the templates. And then the recorded videos are going to be added as we go. And then we haven't decided just as when, But this material is going to be also made available at a later time for anyone who's a premium membership in the ecosystem.
Great, great. Sounds good. Sounds good, Yamina.
Yeah, I think this is the exciting part. This workshop I think is going to be really fun, and I will be there at least for the lecture, and then I'll maybe use my 30 minutes later on, because I do know that I definitely can use a refresher on all of these concepts and how to do these things. Super. Well, Sam, I look forward to seeing you starting May 9th. I hope that a lot of people can join us. Currently, the spots are limited to 25. We have, if I remember correctly, 20 spots out of the 25 left as we are recording this video. And hopefully we'll see a lot of people and a lot of questions. I can also tell you that in the previous course with Dr. Kirakin, with Terry, it was really nice to see the discussions. And the discussions were really that fed the next course and the questions. And I think the group was also very an active group.
Great. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you, Yamina.
Thank you, Sam. All right, we're going to stop recording and then go chit chat offline and let people wonder what we're talking about. Thank you, Sam.